Processes in living organisms, part 2, and the unit is reproduction in human beings. What is sexual reproduction? Sexual reproduction is a mode of reproduction or a type of reproduction involving the fusion or the union of haploid male gamete, that is the egg cell, and haploid male gamete, which is the sperm cell. Sexual reproduction always occurs with the help of the female and the male gamete, and two main processes in sexual reproduction are the gamete formation, that is in meiosis, the haploid gametes are formed, and then fertilization, where from both those haploid gametes a diploid zygote is formed. The male reproductive system. This is the figure or the diagram of the male reproductive system, and it consists of the testes, various ducts and glands. Testes are present in the scrotum outside the abdominal cavity, not within the body. Testes contain numerous seminiferous tubules. Germinal epithelium present in these tubules divide by meiosis and produce sperms. Testes also, in addition to producing sperm, makes the hormone testosterone. Now, seminal vesicles are glands, the bluish looking glands, which store and produce the fluid that makes up semen. Now, semen is the liquid that is present wherein the sperm move around. Then we have the prostate gland next to the seminal vesicles. Again, the function of the prostate gland is to secrete fluid which makes up the semen. Right below the prostate gland on both sides, we have Cowper's glands which produce a lubricating mucus secretion, a sticky secretion. Now, this is the male gamete called the sperm, and the length of the sperm is 60 micrometers, that it is very, very small, 0.006 centimeters. Now, here you can see over the testes a part called the epididymis. Okay. It is little folded, but the length of each epididymis is 6 meters. And this little sperm of 60 micrometers crosses about 6.5 meters only to pass out of the male reproductive system. Okay, it is very small and requires a lot of energy to move, and this energy is got from a sugar called fructose, which is present in the liquid called semen. More about the male reproductive system. There's germinal epithelium present in the seminiferous tubules which are in the testes, and these divide by meiosis to produce sperm. Now, while moving, sperms mature, they become stronger and more adult, and now by the time they reach to move out of the male reproductive system, they are capable of fertilizing the female gamete or the ovum. Now, semen is formed of sperms and the secretion of seminal vesicles, prostate glands and Cowper glands. Now, this semen is ejaculated from the male reproductive system through the organ called penis. Now, this small little sperm, I told you already, 0.006 centimeters. It starts being made here, produced here in the seminiferous tubules. Then it moves to the rete testes. After that, to this small little area called vas efferentia. From there it moves to the epididymis. Then a long journey through the vas deferens, the long duct here, and finally through the urethra to be thrown out of the male body. The female reproductive system. This is the diagram of the female reproductive system. You can see clearly a pair of ovary on each side. Then touching the ovary is a tube or a duct-like structure called the oviduct, again in pairs on both sides. This is also called the fallopian tube. Then we have the uterus, in which the baby implants itself, a passage to the vagina called the cervix, and the female reproductive part, which is called the vagina. Now, every month an ovum or an egg from here is released into the abdominal cavity. That is, where you say that we have our stomach, that whole portion is called the abdominal cavity. It is not stomach, but it's the abdominal cavity. So every month an ovum is released there alternately. If 1 month it is from this one ovary, then the next month it will be from this ovary. Now this egg or oocyte enters the oviduct or the fallopian tube, and there are minute hair-like structures called cilia present in this oviduct, which push the oocyte towards the uterus. Now, the male sperm enters through the vagina. It has a long journey through the uterus, and then it will move into this oviduct or this oviduct, and suppose there is an oocyte here, it may fertilize this ovum in this oviduct. Now, the female reproductive system includes a pair of ovaries, a pair of oviducts or fallopian tubes, a pair of Bartholin's glands, the uterus and vagina, and it is situated inside the abdominal cavity. Now, Bartholin glands are two pea-sized glands to the left and the right of the vagina, and they, like the Cowper's glands in the male, the same function to secrete mucus, to lubricate or to moisten the vagina. Gamete formation. You know that we have the male gamete called the sperm and the female gamete called the egg or the oocyte or the ovum. Now, both these gametes are formed by the process called meiosis. Sperms are produced in the testes of man from puberty, that is about the age of 14 and 15, where the teenager starts maturing. That period is, time is called puberty. So from 15 right up to the death of the male at maybe 70, 80 or even 90, sperms are still being produced in the testes of men. Whereas for women, at birth, there are 2 to 4 million immature oocytes or eggs in the ovary. They remain without moving right up to puberty or maturity, say about 14, 13, 15 in a female, only till about 45. Fertilization. You can see in this picture, this is the female gamete, that is the egg or the oocyte, and the many sperms that come towards it for fertilization. Now, what is fertilization? It is the formation of a zygote by the union or the meeting of the sperm and ovum. Now, semen from the male is thrown out or ejaculated into the female vagina, and the sperm continues its long journey from its male part through the vagina now, the uterus, and to the oviduct where the egg or the female gamete is waiting there. Now there are million sperms moving. One out of these few million sperms will fertilize the ovum in the oviduct. Now from puberty till about 45 to 50 years of age, every month one ovum is released. That is about 2 to 4 million ova, 2 to 4 million eggs approximately. Only 400 are released into the oviduct in the female, and the remaining degenerate or get destroyed by themselves. The next part is development and birth. The embryo develops, as you can see in this figure, a fertilized egg, where now this is the 2-cell stage, moving to 4, 8, 16, and finally a group of cells called a blastocyst. This now you can see a certain development. We can come to know what is the shape going to be at 4 weeks, 10 weeks, 16 weeks, and this is the fetus or the small baby at 20 weeks. Now this happens after fertilization. This zygote repeatedly divides now mitotically because growth and urgent, lots of growth is required. So now we finished the part of meiosis where we had the sperm and the egg develop. Those fertilize, and now we have mitotic division to form this embryo. This zygote reaches the uterus in the female reproductive system. It is implanted there, means it is stuck there, nicely stuck there, and develops further. Now an organ called placenta is formed to provide nutrition to the embryo or the fetus. This placenta provides oxygen and food nutrients from the mother to the fetus, and also helps in throwing out the waste matter. Now, placenta is joined to the umbilical cord, that umbilical cord which is joining the mother and the baby, and so nutrition from the mother goes to the fetus, and waste matter from the fetus is again thrown out by this important organ called the placenta. Embryonic development in humans is completed within 9 months after fertilization, and now the fetus is ready to come out in the world, and that is birth. Sex determination in human beings. Now, in human beings, there are 22 pairs of autosomes and 1 pair of sex chromosomes. Human beings have 46 chromosomes or 23 pairs, out of which 22 pairs are normal chromosomes called autosomes, and only 1 pair is a sex chromosome. In human male gametes, 2 dissimilar chromosomes, that is X and Y, are present, whereas in the female, 2 similar sex chromosomes or X and X are present. Now, all children obviously get the X chromosome from their mother. Now, if the father gives the X chromosome and it pairs with the X chromosome already there from the mother, then the baby or the offspring will be a daughter, that is X and X. But if the father gives the Y chromosome and it joins with the already present X chromosome of the mother, then the pair will be X and Y, and the offspring or the baby will be a male or a son. Hence, contrary to the belief we have in our country that females are responsible for the sex of the child, It is the female who is giving baby after baby and girl, and so therefore the female is not appreciated. But you know now that the male gamete or the gamete from the male parent decides the sex of the baby. We now come to a very important part of reproduction, and that is the menstrual cycle, or the period as it is called in females. The female reproductive system changes at puberty, that is again 13, 14 or 15. The change that occurs every 28 to 30 days is called a menstrual cycle. Now this menstrual cycle is controlled by 4 hormones. The first one, follicle stimulating hormone or FSH. Second one, luteinizing hormone or LH. Both these are secreted by the pituitary gland, which is present at the base of the brain. The third hormone is estrogen, which you have heard about in the 9th standard, and progesterone is the 4th hormone. Now, one follicle in the ovary develops with the oocyte due to the effect of the follicle stimulating hormone. A follicle is a bag containing egg cells. Now every month you will find one follicle in the ovary developing along with the oocyte, and that is because the pituitary gland starts secreting FSH or follicle stimulating hormone. Now this developing follicle, it is developing, it is maturing. While it's maturing, it secretes the hormone called estrogen, and because of that the lining or the endometrium of the uterus starts to develop. Now this follicle completes development and it bursts under the effect of the other hormone called luteinizing hormone or LH. When it bursts, obviously the oocyte which is present in it gets released, and this process is called ovulation. So we have the function of FSH, okay, which makes a follicle in the ovary develop. Then we have this developing follicle secreting estrogen, which helps the endometrium or the lining of the uterus to develop. The next stage is when the follicle completes development and bursts, releasing oocyte, and the process is called ovulation. Now, the burst follicle, it forms a group of cells called corpus luteum, which secretes the hormone called progesterone. Now, secretion from the endometrium glands due to progesterone, and now the endometrium is ready for implantation of the embryo. If the oocyte, which is present in the oviduct, is not fertilized within 24 hours, that means the sperm doesn't come and fertilize it, then this group of cells, which are called corpus luteum, become inactive. They transform into a group of inactive cells called corpus albicans. They stop the secretion of estrogen and progesterone, and because they stop the secretion of these two hormones, endometrium or the lining of the uterus starts to degenerate or to break up, and that is thrown out because it's not required by the body. It is thrown out along with that unfertilized egg through the vagina. Now this is accompanied by continuous bleeding for 4 to 5 days, and this is the process called menstruation. Now the changes during menstruation. You can see in this diagram, this is the period, the initial period of menstruation. Then is the period of the forming of the inner lining of the uterus or the endometrium. Then we have the ovulation period for about 24 hours, where the follicle bursts and oocyte are released into the oviduct. At the same time, we have corpus luteum being formed from the remaining part of the follicle, secretion of progesterone and estrogen. If there is at this ovulation period no sperm fertilizing the egg, then we find that corpus luteum becomes corpus albicans, progesterone and estrogen, they stop secretion. Then the glands of the endometrium starts to degenerate, and along with that egg which is unfertilized, again after a period of 28 or 30 days, you will have a new menstrual period. Okay? Now, if the embryo is implanted, that if fertilization takes place and then the cilia pushes this embryo into the uterus and now it is firmly placed in the uterus, then the menstrual cycle is stopped till parturition. Parturition is a big word for birth, okay, and the process of breastfeeding, where the mother feeds the baby. So the menstrual cycle will come back only after the mother stops breastfeeding. Menstruation is a natural process, sometimes accompanied by severe pains and weakness. But it's not a disease, it's not a sickness, it's just a natural process in females taking place every 28 to 30 days, an important process due to which birth can take place. Now, during menstruation, there is a possibility of infection. So, personal hygiene or cleanliness must be followed. Then we come to the part of the ending of the menstrual cycle, as I already mentioned to you, which happens at the age of 45 to 50 in females, and that is called menopause. Once again, menopause is a natural biological process and it marks the end of the menstrual cycle, and this happens between the age of 40 to 50, where the period or the menstrual cycle of the female will gradually stop. Modern technology in reproduction. Many couples cannot have children due to many reasons. In case of women, it can be the irregularity in her menstrual cycle. There will be some difficulties in producing of oocytes. Maybe the obstacles in the oviduct is blocked. Difficulty in implantation in uterus, that is called miscarriage, and many such reasons. Then in males we have the absence of sperm, slow movement of sperm, some problem in the sperm, and because of that today technology can help these couples with very advanced techniques like IVF. Now in this technique, fertilization is brought about in a test tube and the embryo formed is then implanted in the uterus of the woman at the appropriate time. Now this IVF or in vitro fertilization, as it is called, is used for childless couples who have problems like less sperm count or obstacles in the oviduct. Now some women have problems in implantation of embryo in uterus. Every time the embryo gets implanted, it comes out by itself, it falls off in the form of miscarriage, and so they cannot carry the child. Now such women can take help of the modern technique called surrogacy. You must have heard recently Shah Rukh Khan got a baby through surrogacy. Shilpa Shetty got a baby through surrogacy. Now, in this technique of surrogacy, the oocyte is collected from the ovary of the woman having problem. That oocyte is fertilized in the test tube, IVF, with the help of the sperm collected from her own husband. Now, these two are fertilized in a test tube, and then that embryo is not implanted into the wife, but into the embryo of another woman who has a normal uterus, who is able to carry the baby for 9 months. Now, such a woman is called a surrogate mother, and the entire process is called surrogacy. Then we have males who are having problem with their sperm. In that condition, they can go to a sperm bank, which is similar to a blood bank. Now, in this sperm bank, semen which is ejaculated or thrown out by men who have got normal sperm is collected after these men are physically and medically checked up, and then they are stored in the freezing in the sperm bank. Now, as per the need of the couple who don't have children or having problem having children, the oocyte of that female is fertilized again by the IVF technique using a sperm now not from her husband but a random sample from the sperm bank. Now, the embryo then, when after fertilization, is implanted into the uterus of the female. Now here the name of the semen donor is strictly kept secret as per the law. This is a new technique and there was a movie on it also, Vicky Donor. I'm sure you have seen it. Now these methods once again are for couples who cannot have children due to the following problems. We now come to a very exciting topic called twins. Okay. You can see these, they look alike. Okay. Now, when two embryos develop simultaneously means together in the same uterus, and therefore two babies or offsprings are delivered simultaneously or together, such offsprings or babies are called twins. Now, there are two main types of twins. They are monozygotic or identical twins and dizygotic or fraternal twins. Now, monozygotic or identical twins, as you can see here, are formed from one single embryo. That is one sperm and one egg, they fertilize and one embryo is formed. Now, during early period of this embryonic development, that is within 8 days of the zygote being formed, the cells of that embryo, they develop into two groups. That means they divide, they become half, two groups. And these two groups, they develop into separate embryos, and therefore because it's coming from the same zygote, we have the formation of monozygotic or identical twins. Now such twins are genetically exactly similar because they are coming from the same zygote. Due to this, they look alike and their gender is also the same. That means that either they will both be boys or they both will be girls. Now, I told you this process happens within 8 days after the zygote formation takes place. And therefore, sometimes that zygote doesn't break away into two parts. They remain joined. And then we have the high possibility of conjoined twins or Siamese twins. You can see they are joined by the body. Some of them are joined at the head, some of them at the hip. Okay, so they are actually monozygotic twins identical twins, but because during the early stages, that is within 8 days, that zygote did not fully cut away into two different groups of cells, we get the conjoined or Siamese twins. Now we have the second type of twins. Those are fraternal or dizygotic twins. Now sometimes two oocytes are released from the ovary of the woman, rarely, and both oocytes are fertilized now by two separate sperms, and thus two separate zygotes are formed. Okay? Two embryos form from the zygotes and they are separately implanted in the uterus, and after 9 months dizygotic or fraternal twins are delivered. Now such twins are genetically different. They don't have the same genes. They may be of the same gender, maybe two girls or maybe two boys, and they can also be different. Okay, so we have the explanation of what are monozygotic and what are dizygotic twins. We now come to an important topic called reproductive health, a topic which is not very well spoken of in our country, India. Okay. And there is a lot of indifference towards the reproductive health of women. Okay, woman is supposed to deliver a baby, but they don't take care of their reproductive health. Now abroad we have females and males both going for a medical checkup every 6 months, and that checkup is a physical checkup as well as a checkup of the reproductive organs, internal checkup, external checkup, everything. But in our country there is a lot of indifference towards the reproductive health of women. Giving birth or childbirth is not a small process. It's a big thing. The woman completely changes during 9 months, and therefore the reproductive health of women is very, very important. But we are indifferent in our country because of social customs, traditions, sometimes illiteracy, or they are not educated, shyness to talk about it. Okay, so occurrence of the menstrual cycle is related to the overall reproductive health of women. And nowadays we don't have women sitting in the house. They are working out in the market. They go out at offices, they are astronauts, they are scientists, they do everything, and they are on the level with men. Sometimes they have to stay outside the whole day, and whether you like it or not, the bleeding of the menstrual cycle takes place, due to which the private organs or the genitals need to be cleaned and cleanliness to be maintained from time to time. Otherwise there may be problems with the reproductive health of women. Okay, so it is necessary to remain clean. Now, just because women have menstruation, it does not mean that they only should remain clean. Okay, some reproductive health issues may arise in men also. So it is also important or equally important for both males and females to maintain cleanliness and to be aware of STDs or sexually transmitted diseases like syphilis and gonorrhea. Okay. Now, what is syphilis? When we see occurrence of patches on various parts of the body, including the private parts, some rashes, fever, swelling of joints, these are some of the symptoms of syphilis, which is a sexually transmitted disease. And when we have painful and burning sensation when we are urinating, oozing of pus through the penis and vagina, and we find a soreness in the urinary tract, in the anus, the throat, eyes, etc. Lot of symptoms for sexually transmitted diseases. Therefore, we should be aware of it and take care to see that we are not infected by these diseases. Okay. Now, India as a country where we have an excessive growth of population within a short duration. In short, India is undergoing population explosion, and therefore people in India have to face various problems like unemployment, okay, the standard of living coming down, increasing loan on the country, stress on natural resources, and therefore every time we are having something which is not available, okay, every resource becomes less because of the population explosion. And today, due to the coronavirus, it is still worse. Okay, therefore, looking at all these situations or the condition in our country, or that is population explosion, couples have to follow family planning. Now, what is this family planning? It means that you plan your family. It's not only because people are not earning that much that they should plan their family, but looking at the situation in the country too. We have the second largest population in the world after China. Now, China has taken very strict steps to ensure that their population will come down in time. But at our level, at an individual level, family planning is a must. And there are many, many methods of family planning. It is better to plan a family rather than have the fetus develop and then resort to another process called abortion. Okay, so that is all for